My next review is for Big George Foreman, which I just saw at theaters. It has a really long title here on Rotten Tomatoes. It says Big George Foreman, the miraculous story of the once and future heavyweight champion of the world. That title is way too long. It's currently rated at 45% Rotten Critic rating and 96% audience score, so audiences are loving it, but critics aren't. I left a spoiler-free reaction video on my channel when I got out of it. However, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. This is going to be a non-spoiler, so spoiler-free here. I would say I fall more on the audience side because I had a really fun time with this movie. I would say I haven't enjoyed this movie as much as I've enjoyed a boxing movie since I saw Rocky Balboa back when that came out in the theater. When did I see that in the theater? When did it come out? Like 2007, 2008, somewhere around that time period. Anyway, I felt this was a really good story about George Foreman. I can't really spoil it because it's history, it's his life. If you've read a biography of him or followed him in his career, you know a lot about what's happened. I mean, it's in the public record. He's been in the news a lot. But I'm not gonna spoil, what happens. It's just essentially the story of his life and all the good he's done and how he got to that point. It was a great story. I had a really good time. I mean, he comes from very, very humble beginnings and he just worked his way up. I mean, he's flawed like everyone else. He had anger issues when he was younger, like a lot of young people. And whew, I just had a really great time with it. Uh, who's in it? Forrest Whitaker is in it. Now it's a little long. It's 2 hours 9 minutes. I guess they could have tightened it up a little bit. I didn't know a lot about George Foreman before I saw this. I knew some of the outcomes of some of the fights, but even the ones that I knew about, there's one where he's fighting in 1968 Olympics, and I'm like, yeah, just hit that Russian commie bastard, hit him again. You know, Russians aren't exactly the favorite of everyone in the world right now, and so yeah, I really enjoyed him beating up that Russian, and then there's the famous Foreman George Foreman Muhammad Ali fight for heavyweight. I think they called it the Rumble in the Jungle in Zaire, and that was in sometime in the 70s. And I don't like the Muhammad Ali character in this movie. He's really, I don't like the personality at all. He's really arrogant and whew, I just can't stand him at all. So when he's fighting him, I'm like, yeah, just keep hitting him. I was cheering him on in the theater, even though my theater wasn't that busy. I'm still like, yeah, hit that bastard, hit him again. He deserves it. Uh, and as I was watching this, I also thought about other boxing movies besides like Rocky Creed movies. I think I might have enjoyed this more than all of those movies. Maybe not as much as I enjoyed Rocky Balboa because that's my favorite one. But I definitely enjoyed this more than that Muhammad Ali movie from several years back in the past with Will Smith. I didn't find that movie very good, and I just kind of watched it and moved on. Didn't really go on, but this was way better. I enjoyed this much more. So I would definitely give this a best movie ever. If you're looking for a good time and an inspirational story, it doesn't get really like bloody or violent, so it's not as bloody even as say John Wick. It's not rated R. It says it's rated PG-13, so that's in the US. What would it be rated here? I'm not sure if it was rated PG here or if it was rated AA-14, which just means you have to be 14 and over to go by yourself. I had a really good time with this movie. Let me know what you think of Big George Foreman and the rest of their insanely long title. Let me know what you thought of this movie if you're going to go see it, and yeah, share your thoughts on it. Let me know down in the comments below.